Alright, so we're going to UV map this workbench, and this is a hard surface model, and then we're going to UV map a organic shape. So before I get started, I want to think about this so I can organize it, and I'm just going to do a planar map just to get it all together in one piece and pull this aside, even though I want everything in my 0 to 1. So I did a planar map, and I'm just moving it over so I can put things where they're supposed to be in this area soon. And so I have to think about this, of how it was constructed, and that'll make life a lot easier because this is going to be a wood table workbench. So I have to think about wood grain. And wood grain, when you do your texturing, you always want it to go long ways. In other words, you're not going to have a leg like this where the grain is going left to right. It's going to go up and down. This would be a beam going from left to right. This board would be left to right. These would be boards that it's connected to going this way. And the top would be going left to right. Or, long ways, I should say. So if I start to dissect and think about it, oh, this would be a wood piece here, left to right. This would be a wood piece up and down. This one would be horizontal. This one would be going long ways. Then I can start to decide how I want to break this up. Okay. So what I want to think about is separating these into those planks and then laying them out. And then that will give me a better idea of how I want to do this. Okay. So I'm just going to start to show you some tools. I'm going to grab first some of these easier pieces. So I'm going to grab this plank down here. And here's a nice little tool, because it's already projected. I just have to open this up. There's cut and sew. So we can cut edges, and we're going to talk about this. But if I grab a bunch of faces, I can actually just say create a UV shell from it. And now you'll notice that there's a line there, because if I actually go and select that UV shell, so I click here, click on that UV shell, use my move tool, I could just pull that over into the 0 to 1. But I can't unwrap it because there's no seam going a long way, so I can't open it. So I'm just going to select an edge, probably one at the bottom. Right click, go to edge mode, select that edge, cut it. And now if I click away, you see there's a thick line. So now I could unwrap this like a label. And all I have to do, right click, hold, go to UVs. So I'm holding my right mouse button, selecting that, and then under unfold, I'm just going to say unfold. Now, it's taking a while because I did one thing that I need to do that, and it still worked, but you want to be careful with this. So what we're going to do, right click, select this object, because if we go into the channel box, we can see there's all sorts of history from when I was trying stuff out. So I'm going to say modify, freeze transformations, edit, delete by type history. And actually, you always want to do that before you start. It's okay. But this one actually, all right, that works out. That's mapped pretty nice. And now I can just tuck it over here for right now. Now, I just want to start breaking these guys apart. Okay. So I'm thinking that these are planks going all the way across. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to select shift, click that, shift double click to grab the whole line, shift select, shift double click, shift select, shift double click. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same for the other side, so I can just save some time. Shift, shift double click, shift, shift double click. It should be noted that you want to make sure that the model you're working in, and when you're modeling, that you stay in quads. Otherwise, this double clicking thing does not work, which will drive you nuts. And I also need these pieces, which I almost forgot. We need to get these over here because I want those are pieces of wood all by their little lonesome. That would be intersecting right there. So I can go back to my UV toolkit. I can do a planar map on just those pieces, and you'd say it brings it into the 0 to 1 space, and just say unfold. And you see it's acting wonky, and that's because these little pieces here wrap all the way around and it doesn't know what to do with them. So what we need to do is select those edges at the bottom, that one, and shift select. I'm just shift selecting them. And that way that these guys can open up. Okay. So I'm going to cut those. And now I can select and unfold, and you see now they're nice and clean. And I'm just going, plowing through these. I'll fit them all into this area soon. I'm not worried about that right now. But I'm just going through and unwrapping these guys. So I also want to do the legs. And if you remember last time, I did this thing where I did a cylindrical map on them. And the cool thing is that you can do multiple pieces at once. I just want to make sure that I get the pieces that I want, the ones that would belong to these legs and not extras like that. I don't want to get things I've already fixed. See? So I'm just control deselecting those. And then I'll control shift, get these, making sure I don't get other pieces. Control shift, control shift, control shift. Good, good, good. And up here as well, because that's part of the wood that's going up and down. Okay. Now I could do a cylindrical map of those. I could, even though I have them all selected at the same time. The only thing that I'm going to have to really cut are these guys at the bottom because they're going to confuse it when it's trying to unwrap it because there's no way of opening up a label if the bottom is closed. But I'll worry about that after I've separated them. And I still need to have a seam going up and down. And that's where I'm going to show you a cool tool. So we're going to cylindrical map them. We see we have them all separated. Oops. And we need to do a few cuts. That's where I'm going to use this tool, the 3D cut and sew. Now I don't have to do it that way, but I'm going to show you why it's a lot nicer. If I use just my edges and I go in and I select, and then I say, okay, this one and this one, and I just start going through where I want to cut this so it flops open. What's going to happen is it just takes me a lot of time because then I could do that and then hit cut. And then that'll work and then I can unwrap it, but it's taking I want to be fast and do it right also. So I'm going to take this tool here, and you see it already color-coded everything into separate UV shells. And now I can just double-click to cut things. So I don't have to select and cut, I'm just literally going in. Oops, Z. I want to cut you on the inside. I'm just double-clicking. And it just makes for a much faster kind of transition. And I got all of them. So now they're cut. So once I actually have that, check this out. We go into shell mode, press W for the move tool, so I can actually just select the UVs, the UV shells, and because I've cut them properly, I can just select all of them now, they're UVs, and hit unfold, and bam, I've got all of them unfolded. So let me just show you that again. I selected all of them. I made the cuts in areas that make sense, imagining this thing unwrapping like if I had just taken scissors and cut them, and then I let the unfold work. And the way the unfold is working, if I hold on Shift left mouse button, is it's unfold 3D. I have 10 iterations, which means how many times it's going to try and do it to get it right. And I'll lay them out later. I'm not worried about that, so I don't have that checked. And I just unfold, and now they're all set. Look at that. So now I just need to do these last pieces, including the top, and then I'm done. And then I just have to lay it out. And that'll be in the next video.